So we're going to be fighting against these incursions as they come, deployed, so they don't get a toehold in this reality before the everything comes shattering down. Um, we have already launched the shot, or we haven't launched the shot yet, Derek?
Yep, not yet. I've been waiting on for y'all to, because no definitive answer has been.
Okay. So are we going to do, so this is the important question here. Are we going to attempt to do enough damage to the enemy pre popping of the barrier, or to bring him down, in which case we build a second cannon, or are we going to shoot him just as he cocoons and bring the barrier, keep the barrier up with the energy that Drake is siphoning off from Abaddon?
I thought we had already launched an attack as he was.
You launched, yeah. You launched the. Sorry, and I was just looking at my notes. You did launch the first attack. The decision was, are you launching more? How are you utilizing your resources?
So, are we building a cannon, or are we going to bring up the barrier again?
Tablespoons. What is that? This is a tablespoon. It's a big T. Teaspoons
Or that side?
are lowercase.
Oh.
So which one do we want to do, guys? So when the aberrations come across, the shield is going to come down because the enemy's going for broke. Drake is currently fighting in Abaddon, basically harnessing the energy from the daemons he's killing, preventing the enemy from harvesting said energy in his cocoon, and instead preparing to launch either empower another cannon that the two crafter gods could build, and to provide another super shot against the adversary, or B, he could cast it and bring the barrier back up that's separating the far realm from the material realm. Now, so the question becomes, if we opt for the cannon, we need to come up with other ways we can damage the big adversary before he can bring the barrier down. Otherwise, we're going to be fighting all 12. There's technically 13 unallied, but all 12 greater aberrations. The adversary,
because you got one on your side.
Yeah. The adversary most likely would be dead, or be so close to dead that it's just a matter of a slight push to put him there. It's a matter of, do we go all in on offense, or do we go all in on hedging our bets? Because if we bring up the shield, half of the greater aberrations still come through, no matter what. I think it's going to be a random number, but it's going to be, we'll restrict at least a portion of them from coming across.
Because it was already rolled, so 6 are coming through. You just don't know which 6.
Okay, so we know 6 will end up making their way through. One of them we've already guaranteed to be our ally, Brother of Beholders.
I think at that point my choice would be to fire the cannon again.
Then all 13 come through.
So that's enough since you don't like
Mhm.
spice. We're gonna cut it in half because you don't like spice. One teaspoon.
Josh, what do you think?
It is ballsy.
Yep.
One,
Huh?
2, and 1.
Any input, Josh?
Hey, man.
I don't know. I'm kind of
Sam.
a little bit leery about letting all those.
You know, the top 3 do not have to abide by the laws of your reality.
All the others do. Yeah, the top 3 are.
They're beyond the mind, and
The only ones that could feasibly stand up to the madness they unleash would be Xandric and Drake.
Gideon would be. Wait, yeah, Gideon. Wait, yep, Gideon.
The reason I say Xandric and Drake is because Drake has the eyes of the Dark Messiah, and Xandric's been through the trial of the Vault of Sins.
Yes.
Gideon is one pious motherfucker and has the defenses out the wazoo.
That's
So-
it. Throw Carl at it.
And Carl as well. So, there's a good chance that they might be able to, like, roll high enough to resist. But I'm talking about, like, Drake and Xandric don't even have to roll kind of deals.
You also do not know how your blessings, Drake, and this is in the back of your mind. Your character's smart enough, high enough attributes to realize your blessings and your abilities of stealth and whatnot. You do not know how that will react or how that interacts with the 3.
Mhm.
So you cannot. Drake knows if any of those 3 come through, if you all throw out the barrier, or you take the shot and you just deal with the 13 coming out, that you could not proceed those 3 fights as you would your normal adversaries.
On a side note,
They are an unknown.
On a side note, wouldn't that make my 4 super spells super effective against them?
Potentially. The only one that you're truly leery about with the regards of those spells would be the big one. The top one.
Right. So,
No.
my suggestion is we form. Okay, not here. Not first. We need to decide about whether or not we're going to face the 13 or we're going to face the adversary and +5. Sam, what do you think?
Emotional damage.
I'm kind of indifferent. To put it out there, I'm kind of indifferent towards which one we do, because I can understand the draw of being able to eliminate the most dangerous individual right off the bat with a quick assassination, and then face the smaller threats, piecemeal.
That's
There
if
are a
we
lot
can
of
do the
smaller
assassination
threats.
quickly enough.
Yeah, there are a lot of smaller threats as well as the real trick. And we'd also need to come up with something other than just the cannon to hit the enemy with, just in order to make sure, you push him over that final edge. Because nothing would be worse than bringing to near 0 hit points and then leaving him to recover while we have to fight off the aberrations.
It's not like Dan has experience in this specific scenario.
Fuck. Just fuck that shit.
Want to die by mosquitoes or a giant hammer?
And we don't necessarily just have to come up with new ways to hurt the enemy. We could come up with existing ways to help enhance the cannon shot as well.
I still kind of want to know what would happen if you tied the cannon shot into Draconia's defenses.
Well, the metal that makes up most of this mountain resonates with magic on a Like this mountain is one of the easiest places to do magic in the multiverse because of this metal, and this is the only place in the multiverse where this metal exists. At least that's been discovered yet.
Mm.
Draconium is what we ended up calling it because originality. And I'm not making fun of Derek here. We're the ones that came up with the name. And we actually don't mind Draconium. We leave it there specifically because we don't want to harm the mountain's natural magical abilities. We're the ultimate conservationists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing, Derek, just out of curiosity, I'm guessing the artifacts that each Dragon Lord has are the only magic items that are made out of Draconium.
Yes.
Except for
Artifacts.
something arcane. What's his name? Because he got some metal in the first campaign too.
Yeah.
Um.
I don't know what he ended up crafting out of it.
Yeah, I don't know either. Why can I not?
Nobody
think
ever
of it off
asked.
the top of my head.
Hey, Archaon, what did you end up crafting out of that metal?
He smiles at you, and this is actually the first time you have seen his Lenorn since then.
Oh, it's barding.
Yes. But he's also tweaked it too. So his Lenorn, he's elevated to a celestial kind of companion. You know, it's a demigod level threat by itself, basically on par with Maximilian, the original Red Dragon that was an asshole to y'all. But with the ore that you gave him and his own crafting and whatnot, that is literally the only Dragonoid that your Dragon Lords cannot influence.
Right. That's right. So, who's that? So, in answer to your question, Josh, I think it would be easier to make the shot, like, be easier to charge said shot, but you're also having to funnel energy from Drake through two barriers to charge the cannon, and then you would have to funnel energy, and then when you made the shot would also have to pierce Imperial Plane's barrier to hit the adversary again. That would be the only downside to using the Sonya. I don't know if it would have, if net on net, you'd still end up having a more powerful shot or not. That would be a Derek question. But
Okay, so what if we eliminated not have to, what if we just, we're at Abaddon and we fired the shot?
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I was coughing.
I said, what if we were just at Abaddon? What if we had the gun at Abaddon?
If we had the gun in Abaddon, it couldn't be on Abaddon itself because that's where the enemy is currently disintegrating in order to draw an energy.
Okay.
So
what
where
if we
we're
had it on my ship?
if we had it on your ship, it would be just a matter of whatever energy I can collect is what we're charging the shot with. As of right now, unless someone comes up with another something else to add to that particular energy mixture.
Theoretically,
At the
could
moment-
add the energy of your ship.
At the moment, we haven't asked the Father Lenorn for my favor.
Click or die.
He is still to
Right.
give his help to the war.
Where am I holding it? Very end.
Yes, but you have to remember. Well, again, it all depends on the building of this thing, because
Okay, do it one more
how
time.
much energy you can hold is also kind of important here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for it, but you have to remember, if we have the Father of the Lenorn helping here, we also have 13 battles to assign to various
True.
high-ranked entities.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, on the plate.
It's one thing if we can just, charge up a battery with every high-powered being in existence and let them recover for the final battle.
That's why you're supposed to leave one open.
It's another
One
if
clean
they
hand, one dirty hand.
as it's shooting.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason Drake's able to store is because he has the
Well, that's the last
that
little bit we're using.
rod. Unless we came up with other energy storage devices.
Yeah. The last one.
Alright, I put our mixture in here. We're gonna throw our flour mixture in the trash carefully.
I'm not sure how much energy the Phoenix, which is, Corell's ship, could hold.
Does your ship have a main gun to it?
No,
a
I
zap to
don't
it?
know. I don't actually know. Does it have a main gun, Derek?
As you sit there and you contemplate this, AI or A begins to formulate this weapon and basically loads in the blueprint for it to configure itself to have a cannon.
So it could potentially have a cannon.
So we provide you the resources, and you'll be able to create a cannon.
How long?
I'm not sure how your ship works, except remember I wasn't there for Awakening or anything. So
AI or A simply says, "Do you wish me to proceed?"
Yeah.
After what moments your ship has a functioning cannon as it reconfigures itself for the new form.
I forgot how fast I could do that.
well, this would be another good strike to launch against the adversary when he moves for the cocoon. 'Cause the more attacks we can add to that particular first strike.
Now, as of right now, when you fire from it, it is drawing energy from the ship itself. So you do have a finite resource of
Oh, I'd need to figure out
available power.
either way of getting more power into the ship, or
If you drain the entirety of the ship's power, it'd give you a shot and comparable to your cannon or the cannon.
okay.
But you would also have to rebuild its power source.
What does it take to build a power source? Solon asks.
Ooh, no, sorry, yawning. I cannot stop yawning for the love of God. Basically the raw creations and formations of the universe. Dark matter, matter, heart of a star, heart of a dying star. All the fun components that
Solon asks, can you
energy
take me there to your power source?
energies of supernovas and shit like that. It's cosmic forces.
Someone asked, can you take me to the power source?
Take him to the power source.
Remember that material that I got just several sessions ago, Derek, that is able to morph into anything as long as you
Yes.
get a sample of it? Give it to Josh.
How much did you have?
A chest's worth.
Okay. I'll find my notes exactly on that. But yes, you have something very valuable to your ship.
The gist of this material is when a small sample is fed into it, it is able to take the form, or no sample is required. As long as you know what you're transforming it into, it is able to transform into any material the wielder is capable of comprehending.
Hmm. Very useful.
Ooh. My nerd side just got happy. Sorry, I just got a feed letting me know that the Tome of Chaos for the Witcher RPG book is going to be coming out soon.
So I could fire a shot from this and then suddenly just boom, I have power again.
Yep, swap out the battery, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be the use of it. You could shoot again, but then you'd find yourself on a floating dead ship.
I might have something to also add to try and help power it. But since we're in Dracona, I might be able to get what I need. Dan, how easy would it be for me to get 4 level 21 soul gems?
The brand name is Idaho.
Level 21 soul gems?
Yes.
Fairly easy because Warforged project, so shouldn't be that difficult.
Zedek, I would if I could, then I would transfer the 4 level 21 souls I had sucked in the scythe.
Okay, we need one of those bags.
Transfer them to the soul gems.
Okay.
Speaking of souls, Solon brings up, we have 3 greater souls we just rescued from the adversary. What are we going to do with them?
Thermometer for me. It's very sharp. You stick it in the part that is
I don't know.
the thickest, not the longest.
I know someone who'd want
The thickest.
would want Lost Soul.
Several people that want Lost Soul.
there's
Well, there's some on
a-
the island, and then there's some Dragon Lord, I think.
And then there's Asmodeus.
105.
I
Player
Banning his
characters, Xandric definitely wants it.
145.
I don't know if Xandric actually truly wants it.
So
Yeah, he does.
it has to reach 145.
Or he doesn't.
Stop dancing around the hot oil. It has to reach 145. Does it
I'm
say
thinking he
145?
wouldn't care.
What does it say?
It says
But there was this other idea I had. We tried to construct the cannon on
123.
the floating
Is that bigger or
city.
higher than
You're telling
145?
me.
I couldn't hear you, Josh. What?
Is it lower or bigger?
The Skyhold,
So is that cooked?
which is our flying
Yeah.
city portion.
Yep, it's where the Dragon Knights have their base.
We could put it there and have it floating above Abaddon Fire. Not big.
One of them is Vecna's
Mentor.
former master. And then you have the god of the former assassin god soul.
All right. Yeah. Three crazy ones.
We're gonna fuse them with 7. Giving 7 the access to the domain of secrets, the domain of stealth, and the power of shadows and poisons that Loth brings to the.
Just make him super creepy.
Yeah. It would make him the ultimate assassin.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, so building the cannon isn't necessarily the problem. The Skyhole doesn't have any of the draconium in it, anyways. So building it above Abaddon, where we can collect it later, assuming we take out the adversary, or in a single shot, or hopefully taking out the adversary in a single shot, or build it here and then transport it there when the time for the final battle happens. I don't think it's neither here nor there. We can decide later.
Mm-hmm.
But are we set on the second cannon
I'm set on the second
as
cannon.
opposed to the shield? I just want to make sure before, just so when we start, come up with other ideas and other plans, that we can set course.
Are we gonna have one super? Or we're gonna go with either a supercharged shot or the shield. What I thought we were talking about. No matter what, we're gonna have a cannon shot. Whether or not we have supercharged.
Could you say that again, Josh? Something didn't click.
The way I understood it is we were supposed to be debating not for a second cannon shot, but a supercharged cannon shot, or a shield that would block. Because no matter what, we could get a cannon shot. We could construct cannons and shoot them off, but they wouldn't, do as much damage as a supercharged cannon shot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What I meant by cannon shot, I'm talking about the lizard folk ruins. That's what that level cannon shot. That's what I'm referring to. Because we took the first lizard folk ruin shot and damaged and broke the cannon there when we hit him when he went into his cocoon. Now it's easier to build a second cannon than it is to repair the current cannon. Upon building the second cannon, the energy required to fire said cannon has to come from somewhere. Drake says he can charge it using the energy, the energy of creation that he's siphoning from Abaddon, because that's simultaneously hurting the adversary, because it's less energy he can absorb.
Yeah. Don't we have?
He could bring the shield back up with only a momentary lapse.
Okay. I'm leaning towards the shield, but that's me. And then we have any of the famine, pestilence, any of those, just siphoning away area, right? To drain energy from the cocoon even more.
Correct.
I have a partial thought.
Go ahead.
Because you said Drake was siphoning energy from Abaddon. I don't think any of our personal little alternate realities would be powerful enough to do anything. But we all each have our little stone that is like a one-way water travel. Could we somehow use those for like a pseudo water cannon type thing that could potentially help us somehow?
Huh? I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think. Basically, focusing the pressure released from the plane of water that we currently get through those stones, and basically trying to do how they cut steel with water. Basically, is that kind of what you're talking about, Sam?
Yeah. You took what I was kind of thinking and made it better. So we're gonna go with that. I said I had half a thought. I'm trying here.
Hey, no, it's a good idea. It's a matter of we need to find a material strong enough to basically force all that pressure into a very, very small opening. And you'd have a very powerful weapon then. I mean, a very powerful weapon then. And you'd have virtually limitless ammo.
Super Soaker 9001. All right.
Pretty much. It's just a matter of coming up with a material that's strong enough to actually do that.
I don't know, Derek. Is the Pale Star Ally strong enough?
Yeah.
That's the alloy from your star.
It's a combination of Pale Stone and Star Metal.
Because I have all that alloy, all that ore sitting around right now that I could put to use.
You need to combine it with all the Pale Stone we have, and then you could make Pale Star Alloy.
What about the crystal trees? Dan and I both planted acorns.
Right? Yeah, they should be beginning to sprout, and I'm hoping they're beginning to sprout at this point.
How big are Leviathans at? Because they've hatched.
Right?
They're huge creatures right now. They're just little babies.
Just,
Right? They're so adorable.
Yeah, just going to the fish tank in the ship and just looking at it. That
comes up with you with the big old eyes and whatnot.
Like, I had to have a fish tank in the ship. You know that, right?
All famous commanders have them. The only question is, do you have models of other ships all around your office as well?
I have yet to see another ship. Except for maybe the Skyhold. Which, just like rare. Think for a second. Suddenly, there's a Skyhold model sitting there in my office.
Right.
So one of the reasons why I'm sitting quietly back is because literally everything's in your all's court right now until you give me a jumping off point.
It's a matter of coming up with ideas there, because
I was just letting you know. I was just letting you all know, and anybody who's watched this mess of what we've done here. Everything is we will progress once you all have a plan.
Okay.
I'm in the reactive seat right now.
Okay, this is Sam, what do you think between shield and sword? The all-out assault.
Her mind immediately went to Pokemon. As soon as you said that, I saw it in her face.
She wants a Bulbasaur.
Like she was taking a bite of something, and you said that, and she nearly choked. She's such a nerd. I love her.
My ask question is still about: go out all-out assault in the adversary and eliminate him pre-battle, and then deal with the 13, or are we hedging our bets? This is very, very important, and I don't want other people's voices to be drowned out here, because we currently have one for the shield and one for the assault, and one person abdicating his vote.
If we go the shield route, we're doing the 3 strong guys, and then the rest are kind of meh.
No, it's going to be a random. Of the 13, 5 will get through that are adversaries, and they'll be random in terms of which 5 we get. We could get all 3. We could get all 3 strongest, or we could get none of the 3. It's all a matter of luck on which ones were closest to the barrier when it came down. Now,
if we go sword, we're gonna be fighting double that.
More than double. We're going to be fighting all 12 adversaries. But we won't be fighting the guy that created them. More than likely.
And which plan does the cannon fit into?
The cannon is all-out assault. As far as your cannon can fit into the water cannon can fit into either plan. Either bringing it to bear against one of the larger aberrations, or bringing it to bear against the final adversary. It's all a matter of where we think we need the most damage. And technically, we could bring it with us, or mount it to Josh's ship.
I don't mind going either way, but I might be leaning towards shield just to be on the safe side. Maybe.
We also don't fully know what the Shama and them have accomplished with their task. If that will change him enough or not.
True, but if it changes him enough, then the all-out assault becomes the best choice. Because there'll be enough of a delay to actually deliver maybe a second follow-up shot before he brings down the barrier. In which case, he's then guaranteed toast. You have to remember, all of this there's one major assumption we have to remember here. All of this is predicated on the idea that we may be able to do enough damage to him as soon as he emerges from the cocoon to prevent him from bringing down the shield. That would be the most ideal scenario. I just don't like planning for the most ideal scenario, because it oftentimes doesn't work out in the most ideal way. Charlie, you're one of the people that's in favor of the assault. Maybe you would like to talk about why you want to go that route.
Personally, even with the amount of aberrations that come out, I think that with the cannon route and the sword route and the all-out assault, I would rather have the adversary dead and then dealing with his last hurrah than the number of randoms plus the main guy. Because in that random we may get absolutely screwed, and 3 of them are 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Plus the adversary. So if I have to face against 1, 2, and 3, I'd rather it be without.
Fair. Also, side note, Drake lets the group know the Lord of Nightmares has been completely taken care of.
What?
Lord of Nightmares has been completely taken care of. He has a couple of avatars still left on the material plane, but they are of a significantly weaker power than what he was. Like, lower level than we are. Or maybe tied with our level, but at worst.
Mm-hmm.
But his main power, he's gone. You don't got to worry about him in the short term. And when I mean short term, I mean like Drake's lifespan level short term.
Which might be relatively soon, though.
Yeah, but if Drake dies, then, he doesn't have to worry about anybody else's failures. He did his best. That's everyone else to, pick up the pace. Pick up the slack. So let's take a step back for a moment. If we were to fight the 12 aberrations, the Court of Stars, all remaining 7 members, could feasibly take on number 2 or number 3. Their group versus 2 or 3, ranked 2 or 3 on the aberration side. If we don't have to worry about the main adversary, Thrasadune, Talos, and Bokob could feasibly take on number 1. And as far as number 3 is concerned, we could feasibly tag team him with Archaon, Pelor, Cord, and yeah. I don't know. I don't know who else, if we would add anybody else into that particular party or not, but that would be how I'd recommend dealing with the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
And as they finish up their various opponent, they could technically go and help the other 2.
Yeah.
Same with anybody else who's fighting on a lower level could feasibly come up and help further up the chain as time goes on.
You have a question.
Yes?
Where is the God Emperor and all this shit? Is he just ignoring half of it?
No, he said he was going to help.
Yeah, y'all haven't actually really interacted with him either. You have no idea what he's doing.
I'm pretty sure he was supposed to come with the group that was went in to invade the Solarium. Because we were pulling out all the stops for all the gods that we had available at the time. They have no idea why we would limit it, or we would limit the God Emperor from coming or not.
It'll be alright. Put your pillow on bed.
In my notes, he is not there.
But neither here nor there. The God Emperor could feasibly help with could be the 4th member of the rank 3 battle. because he should be on par with those guys. Be the leader of the 4 pantheons of the material plane versus the 3rd ranked aberration. And as long as we have the top 3 taken care of, everyone else has to act within the realm or within the rules of our world. Means you won't have reality warping around any of them, any of the others, like beyond reason.
Yeah, there would still be reality warping, but it would be it
It'd be akin
still
to the
has
9th
to
level
be
spell as opposed to the just
it would have-
naturally weird shit happening.
yeah. The top 3 or the strongest 3, you do not know what to expect. You do not know how capable or how much their reality warping is. You do know that the strongest was stated to be a comparison to Bokob, Thrasadun, and
Talos.
Talos. Yeah, Talos.
So, feasibly speaking, that would be my suggestion for top 3. And someone who we've never really seen their full power, but I asked about it before to Derek on some side stuff I was doing. Xanathran. He changed when he became a guardian of our world. He's actually extremely potent. Like, he's right up there. He's actually right up there in power with Cord and the rest.
Yeah, most of your all's interactions with him is him stuffing his face with sweets.
In his mini beholder form.
Yes. But there's a reason why up until this point there hasn't really been any aberrations since his inception to Guardian. There's been 2 mother beholders and the one juvenile aberration that was stuck in the islands that he just, basically took him back to where he came from.
Oh, I mean, we could feasibly sick Xanathran on number 4. It'd probably be close to an even fight. His mother, though, is very weak. His mother is ranked 10th. 10th or 11th in power. I don't remember off the top of my head.
10th. I'll be right back while y'all discuss. I need to use the restroom and I'm going to grab a drink.
I'm trying to help you out a little bit, Charlie, by saying how we would end up dealing with all the listed aberrations.
Yeah.
To show we actually that it is a viable plan.
Mm-hmm.
If we dispatch the various gods into teams of, say, 5 or 6, they could handle the next 2 ranks. So you're now got 5 and 6 taken care of. Kind of curious, and then here's kind of where we need Derek, because I need a kind of point of reference where 7th falls in the CR realm before I can come up with who could take him. Maybe have Io take on number 5. Have Death take on number 6. 2 teams of gods, 7 to 8.
I think I know how to make.
And then we just need to come up with 9, 10, 9, 11, 12, and 13. And technically, the Mother of Beholders could take on, as number 10, take on number 11. Well, there's just a couple left that we have to take care of.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of, supporting the other battles as you finish off your battle.
Yeah.
Which
one do you think we would take?
It depends. That's why I kind of need to ask Derek where the CR level of the various aberration lords are, because feasibly, I could see maybe if Gideon and Carl teamed up and being able to take one by themselves. And then maybe Xandric and Drake teaming up and being able to take one on by themselves. Especially if Drake calls in his dragons. It's all a matter of what CR we're talking about here. And then the Dragon Lord's just helping out whichever of the 2 groups need helping. And that isn't without dealing with any other heroes, like this world could provide in aid.
There is another thought we haven't thought about.
Oh.
We're talking about only one universe or one galaxy. Isn't there more options we could, grab people from?
There are, but it's the question of the aberrations. If they're invading the material plane, they're invading other planes. We don't got to worry about them. Other galaxies, if the A's aberrations are invading another galaxy, we don't really have to worry about it. That would be because every galaxy has super strong individuals in it. So if they could feasibly go up against a aberration lord that invaded their galaxy, I mean, we'd warn them. Obviously, we're not that cruel, cold-hearted.
I was thinking about them fighting off shit. I was thinking of getting aid from them. Other galaxies.
That'd be a negotiation. That would be something that we'd have to roleplay out, and depend on what kind of galaxy or where you'd go in that galaxy in order to find the aid you seek. But I heard a Derek back. Are you back, Derek?
No, not yet.
Okay. So feasibly, mortal kind provides enough heroes to take on the final 3 aberrations. It should be able to provide, and that would cover everybody. And then as long as we had enough firepower to take out the adversary, it'd just be a series of boss battles to be taken out for the 13. Now, the flip side is we bring the shield up. The adversary is going to be a level 40 plus or minus a little bit CR to fight.
Is there another way we could bring up at least a partial shield?
It's more the amount of energy that we're talking about than anything. And how you want to go about doing it, because the reason Drake is able to do it is because he has the Bokob staff. Allows him to convert energy into a usable form, whatever usable form he wishes. So we could try to come up with another way to fund the shield, or to create the shield.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of Drake wouldn't be able to take a part in it. And I'm not trying to make Drake the central character here. I'm just saying it's a matter of he has two resources that allows him to do stuff like this: those super spells and this staff. And the staff is required for either or. It doesn't have enough energy capacity to do them both.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the staff a lot like Zandrik's redirect?
Yeah, a little more control over it, but yeah. In other words, the energy just has to be there. It doesn't necessarily have to be has to be there, and it has to be a form of energy that can be grabbed by the person wielding it. So in other words, Drake has soul magic, so therefore he can drain Abaddon as much as he freaking wants. If someone else were to wield the staff, they would have to be able to do soul magic themselves in order to do what Drake's doing. That would consist of the Witch Queen, Gavin. That'd be it. They're the only other two that can wield the staff as effectively.
No.
Do you have any ideas about powering up the shield, or Josh, that you wanted to bring up, or?
Oh, I'm just thinking. I don't have any firm ideas, anyways.
I'll have a couple questions to ask Zadok. In taking the mantle, I don't know if I've gained access to anything, so that might be in the tower.
Fair.
Didn't we steal a bunch of really powerful buildings?
What do you mean?
Like the
still corrupted forge,
the throne, the vault sin.
Yeah, but it's a matter of figuring out what they do. Because there's four greater objects that we got from the Four Horsemen: the throne, the cauldron, the vault of sin, and as far as death is concerned, I'm not sure if it's the citadel or if it's the Chiron's boat that's the greater artifact. Or scythe.
Yep.
I'm not actually sure which one's death's artifact.
Yep.
But yeah, I haven't asked or found out from Derek yet about what the throne does, and I haven't heard about the other two either. Drake also intends to. He's dispatched because magic is now flowing fine in the material world. So Drake went ahead and dispatched soldiers and dragon knights to various cities and stuff around the world because he intends to do one giant address. Let people know what's coming.
Do we still have Orin blubbering on my ship?
Behave, or you will not like the consequences.
I believe so.
But he hasn't done anything to reach any sort of potential.
Something to note here to remember. In addition to the, 13 aberration lords that we're focused on, and we should be focused on, don't get me wrong, there's going to be hordes upon hordes of aberrations that come through that gate as well. That's why Drake intends to address everyone.
How much power would we get from those 3 greater souls?
What do you mean?
If we were to use them to power something.
It would be significant. Two of them are gods. One of them is a demigod.
Obviously, this would not be a suggestion coming from Corral. It'd be coming from Gender.
Then that would be Solon's response. Would be 2 of them are gods. One of them is a demigod. The question is whether or not it would be more worthwhile to turn Loth over to Asmodeus and have Asmodeus and the demon lords take on another lord of aberration, or the devil lords take on another aberration lord, giving him a little bit better chance against one. Because they're gonna help either way. I forgot to add them into a list of allies.
You'd give him Loth, and he'd do what with Loth?
Resurrector into what would be a roughly equivalent of the Dark Gods pantheon.
I'm guessing there would be a Dragon Lord that you'd be rejecting that.
I don't know.
The
lost power over the Drow is broken. That's never coming back. As soon as she died, it was broken.
And then she released it from Xandric, so he.
But I mean, like, her control over the Drow was always because of the Drow's choice.
Mm-hmm.
The Drow have now lived for generations without Loth's oversight. So are there evil clans of Drow out there that will turn back to worshipping the Spider Queen? 100%. Will she have any sway whatsoever from all the Drow that follow Draconia or live in the Dwarven Mountains? No. Not unless they voluntarily turn towards her as their god. But now it's a choice. That was it. That'll be it.
I'm back. Sorry, I started not feeling good there for a moment. Still don't, but I'm back at least for the moment. You have a lot of questions for me.
Yes.
A bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the 2 most basic questions. What kind of CRs are we talking about, or rough CRs are we talking about for the lower the lower 10 aberration lords? And what do the greater artifacts do that we got from the Horsemen? The Throne, the Cauldron, and the Vault of Sins.
Alright, so the CR from what your inside man would be able to tell you, the first 10, they range anywhere between challenge rating 22 at the weakest to around 32 at the highest.
Okay.
The top 3, she could not tell you.
Okay.
You know that Cthulhu is not amongst the top 3, and he pushes the 32 bound.
We're fighting Cthulhu?
Yes.
And he's not even in the top 3.
No, they're not.
Yeah. So, and then the artifacts.
Sorry, I was trying to eat a cracker, dude. Let me bring those up for you. Can't wait to get rid of all these fucking notes. My side is so filled on the Roll20. I have over 400 and something handouts that I have just for myself.
Yeah, imagine. Yeah, that would be
But to be fair, that is the combination of the last 2 games, so the last 3 years, pretty much. All right. The Throne of War. The one who controls the Throne of War. You act on your rolled initiative, initiative 20, initiative 10, and initiative 0.
holy
You
shit.
are immune to critical hits. A successful attack is turned into a critical strike. You cannot be surprised, you cannot be ambushed, and you cannot be frightened. Mind control and shit like that does not work on you.
Drake's floating around on this throne like he's fucking Moldar.
Now, the balancing act to that right there, for a player having it, you don't benefit from like haste and things like that. You get your 3 actions, and your 3 actions, your 3 actions, and your 3 actions.
I'm okay with 9 actions around as opposed to 4. Do you know how annoying that would be? Just because of Drake's stealth.
Oh, this is bullshit.
I agree with Sam. This is a pairing made in fucking heaven.
The cauldron. The controller of the cauldron. Whatever weapons that or ammunition or things like that are bathed within the cauldron. They bypass all damage immunities and resistances. They take the target of each one of your hits, take an ongoing your level times 2 damage, no save for 24 hours. Armor and whatnot dipped in it give you immunity to all conditional effects, bleeding, poison, things like that, yada yada yada. Attackers that hit you in combat suffer untyped damage equal to your level times 2. You are immune to critical hits. If you critically hit somebody with your attack, they have to make a Constitution saving throw against your class or spell DC +5, depending on whichever one's higher for the classes, that multi-classing and things like that. Or you gain control of the person as you infect them and you manipulate the disease and bacterium and all that within them. They become your puppet. And they also gain a lesser effect. to what was stated there. You also gain an aura. Basically, 1 mile. Creatures of your choice have to make a Constitution saving throw at the start of each of their turns. Otherwise, take 10d10 untyped damage. On a critical failure, they drop to 0 hit points. Hold on. On a critical failure, they drop to 0 hit points. If they suffer any further damage, they are risen as one of your plague guard. And there is one last thing. Hold on. Sorry, Big Les, getting through the fluff of it. The damage inflicted by you or any of the effects of the cauldron, cauldron's blessing, cannot be healed until a greater purification spell is cast upon them, such as Wish, Alter Reality. Has to be a 10th level or higher. Now, that doesn't mean they can't heal. So, like, say if you hit somebody for 80 damage and they further take damage from somebody else, they could heal the damage that they took from somebody else. They can't heal the damage that you inflicted.
Who has control of that right now? Besides the group at large, who's the one that's taking
Gideon.
control of it?
Gideon's the one that has it right now.
Yeah.
And all you have to do for the one buff is to dip your weapon in it. Does that give? What does that do for control? Like, would Gideon have control of Corral's weapon if he dipped his weapon in that dang thing?
You would become his plague guard.
Not sure about that one.
I'm more thinking about if they took bales of arrows, had a rope around them so it's like one giant quill, dipped them in there, and just started distributing them to random people. Just
Yes.
bales and bales of arrows. That's all we're using this cauldron for. It now has a plus 50 damage modifier that bypasses all DR and resistances and immunities.
So, a bucket of arrow given to Taraxis, okay.
I don't need arrows.
I'm just thinking a bunch of random, archers in the army kind of deals that are fighting aberrations.
The Lord of Sin, the ruler, says the Lord of Sin, the one who commands the vault of sin. You know, every indulgent, every want, a thing, anything, how to put it, you know, the wants and the desires, what something craves even if they do not. Sorry.
So basically, on this fur, I just go up to him. What is it you desire mostly in the world?
Yes, kind of. You also get a empowered version of what Drake can do in the Oathbinder family. The catch, however, there is no equivalent exchange required, but their souls are indeed forfeited to you. Doesn't matter how minor the want is, if you grant it to them and they accept, their soul is forever forfeited to you or the current Lord of Sin.
Do they have to know about that deal?
No. No, they do not. This is an abomination to what the Oathbinders stand for. This circumvents everything that Fae and devils and other deal-making entities honor or hold to great respect. This circumvents that.
And it was given to Xandric, one of the more chaotic beings. Interesting.
No one can take a hostile action against you unless they beat your. They have to make a Wisdom saving throw, and they have to beat your class or spell DC +5, whichever one is higher. On a failure, they become your thrall for 1 month and a day. On a critical failure, they become your thrall. A 10th level spell or higher can remove said effect. Because of the nature of what this encompasses, you know everything's dirty little secrets. You know their weaknesses, their joys, their strengths, and you know all those various different things. Basically, you have what Araxis's bow does. It lets you see the status effects and everything on somebody, except for you don't have to mark, you just see.
Doesn't work on Drake, though, correct?
Correct, not on you.
Because of domain.
Yes.
Never let Drake know what this does. If you want this thing to maintain one piece, never let him find out. It will become his new mission in life to see it destroyed.
A
And as
target's
you see,
AC.
he can become very driven.
A target's AC is minus by your level. They have a misfortune when making any saves against any effects that you take against them. And, you know, you're just... There is an air about you that just excites everybody around you. They just want to be around you. They need to be around you.
Give that to a bard. Fascinating.
I state this again for the group at large. Never let Drake find out what this does.
So this one is very kind of situational. It is very powerful. But it isn't, other than these misfortune to save DCs and an AC, taking a penalty to AC equal to your level, because they are, no matter your most hated of enemy, just looks upon you in awe and splendor. And their defenses are weakened to such an extent because they can't bring full defense or ferocity against you. Now, Drake, if he ever actually wanted to destroy this, one, he would actually have to basically remove sin from the universe, or lock up his buddy for all time.
Never let Drake know what this does.
I mean, we're friends, Xandric, but...
I mean, what if he just, made a deal to promise never to use the deal thing?
Now, whose deal are you doing? Are you doing your deal, or is it...
All right, that could get bad there.
You go up to Drake, let's make a deal. No, I will not.
I don't know what the cauldron does though.
You mean the vault?
The vault does though.
Okay, why did both of my characters get a vault?
Well, no, actually, I might now because it's a secret. Not 100% sure how that works.
What Drake knows is the Vault of Sin, and you realize that your children, and you all got very lucky with Xandric beating Famine. And he realizes out of all of them, Kron, yes, is the strongest, yada yada yada, but he is very straightforward. His applications of death and whatnot, very, very straightforward. Out of famine, pestilence, and war, and even superseding Quran, famine was definitely the most deadliest. You know, the Vault of Sin is basically what the name implies. It is sin incarnated. It is.
If you get a chance.
It is. You don't know exactly what it does, but you have an inkling that it is something that needs to be handled with extreme caution.
Xandric, what does it do?
Because it's not so much a secret of what it does. It's the embodiment of what.
Yeah,
it
but I'm about unless
Yeah.
he tells me what it does now, then it does become a secret. Loophole. Xandric, what does it do?
Who's asking, Drake?
Drake.
A lot of things. Probably a few things I'm not going to ever use. You know.
Like what?
Makes it easier for me to deal with people that I don't like.
Now I'm starting to get suspicious.
Don't worry, I like you.
One thing you do notice as you're talking to Xandric, as he's at this point taking full control of it, those passive effects do affect you. You feel yourself unable to bear your full defense against him,
even with the throne.
Actually, yeah. No, that's
You feel normal.
You feel normal. Never mind.
Something fishy's going around here.
So far, he hasn't lied.
I know, but he's made it a secret, Derek.
But how's he made it a secret? He hasn't hid anything.
He's keeping it secret from me. I'll find out eventually. You know that. Secrets are things to be found out. Anywho. Now we know what they do. Drake does not yet know what it does, but he will find out.
Funny thing is, I actually don't see. This is out of game talking here. I actually can't see Xandric really using that deal. Unless he really, really needed to. But, yeah.
Regardless, now that we know what these do, we have a general range that we're dealing with The aberration lords. Even just this is to point out the horde of aberrations that are going to come through. They're coming through regardless if we bring up the shield or not. The shield that Drake is bringing up, I had to bring this up because I don't think I made this clear before. The shield that Drake is putting in place is basically a much weaker version than the one that it currently exists. It's not so much weaker in terms of overall power, but like putting a net up instead of putting, a solid wall.
Mm-hmm.
Drake's purpose is to stop if we were to do the shield, would be stopping the greater aberrations from crossing over. The little ones, would he like to stop them? Sure, but he just doesn't have the time or the power to make an instantaneous wall that strong. Or an instantaneous wall strong enough to resist both all the 13 aberration lords, or the 12 aberration lords remaining. The resurrecting of the wall is going to have to come after that, and that's going to be like a divine, all the gods working together kind of deals to raise a secondary divine gate.
Maybe unless you can construct something that would that.
Well, technically, if you can find something as if you can find something as valuable to Drake as a divine gate, you can craft a second one. His bloodline crafted the first. They kept the gods and all their subordinates pinned to the heavens. And Drake is stronger than his mother was. So feasibly, if you found something that would equal that in value, Drake can make a wall or a gate.
Well, I know something that's equal in that value to Drake, anyway. But I don't think Dender's going to do it.
It's fine. I'm just telling you, like, I'm just laying facts out there for you.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. I'm pretty sure giving you the relinquishing the Vault of Sin to Drake, where Drake could just destroy it, or make it so no one could ever use it, would be worthy enough.
Oh, hell yeah. That'd be enough for almost anything you'd request from Drake.
I know.
I want a ball in a cup.
Hey Zadok, after taking the mantle, have I gained access to anything else? Anything
Yes.
new in the tower or anything?
You do have full access to the tower, and I will get with you, as that one's a little bit more extensive and a little bit more convoluted than what these three are.
Anything that could potentially help out in the fight? Or the chaos to come?
Yeah, quite a few. But again, I'll get with you on that,
Okay.
because it's a little bit more convoluted.
Okay.
The one book that we got that has like all the recipes, or all the blueprints,
Yeah.
that has structures and everything in it.
Right.
Does that have any sort of shield structure or anything like that in it?
Yeah.
That would actually work for this?
To replace he's talking about a shield structure that would replace the current shield separating the realm of the fall realm from this realm.
No.
Because it has to exist already, Josh. So none of those buildings You could invent one, and then the blueprint would be added to this particular tome. But you have to invent one first.
I have a question though. Could I have and analyze that book and just download all the blueprints that are in it?
You could have them do that, yeah.
I'll have A start doing that. If he's to be so kind, or she, or it, whatever.
So Derek, part of what you missed while you were gone is, and we need to make a final call on whether or not we're going to do all-out assault or aberration lords. Point of reference, Josh and Sam is final adversary is going to be a level 40 CR, with about, I think it was a fourth of his health taken out.
To start with, yeah.
Start with.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll be fighting on that end. On the aberrations end, it's challenge rating 32 to 22 and it's spread out in a range over
Depending
the
if
bottom
you get
10.
the top three, she can't tell you how strong they are because they are far beyond her.
Correct. For the bottom 10, the top 3 teams, and this is going off of Drake's knowledge and off of Neshama's predictive ability, Derek. The 3 teams to take on the 3 greater deities. For number 1, Bokob, Thrasadune, and Talos. Number 2, that would be the Court of Stars. Number 3 would be the 4 Pantheon leaders. So Archaon, Cord, Palor, Cord, Archaon, and the God Emperor.
You wanted to know the odds?
Roughly. If they're roughly on strike, the fight is roughly on par.
For the 3 against the 1, the likelihood of all of them surviving is nil. It's almost. She predicts at least 2 die.
So Pyrrhic victory.
If they are successful, there is a chance that the strongest aberration could defeat all 3 of them, and there is a chance all 3 could defeat it without suffering any losses. That one is near the bottom of the rung. Basically your 1%. To put it in percentage wise, I would say about 1% chance, maybe a little higher, for all 3 to be able to defeat him without losses. For him to be able to defeat all 3 without, being defeated himself is about 12%, and the rest remains with either a total annihilate, both sides destroy each other, or
1% critical success rate and a 12% critical failure rate.
Yep.
Number 2, Court of Stars versus number 2 Aberration.
The Court of Stars have roughly about, to put in the success of them succeeding and still having means to be able to help, there's about a 65% chance that they would be able to defeat them and still be able to help somebody else.
Okay.
Now, there's a chance that they'll be able to defeat them. The likelihood of them being able to defeat that one is high. The likelihood of them being able to still offer aid is still substantial. Might not be able to, because you're looking at about a 35% chance that they're just too wounded. They'd expended too much of their resources to be helping anywhere else.
So what if we changed up the plan a little bit, and this is out to the group, and basically say, the higher you are in this particular ranking, your job isn't to fight to win, it's to fight to delay. In other words, you preserve as much of your strength as you can while preventing the enemy from doing any significant damage, either to the world / reality / to your team. And your job is to wait for a lower ranking team to come up and help you in order to tip your odds more in your favor.
Again, this is going on what bitch, because she doesn't know the exact capabilities of the three. The bit of information she can glean from the amazing power boost you gave her with your nat 20, she can glean bits of the future that revolve around them. She would inform you, whoever is going against the strongest, it is a fight to the life and death. There is no delay. That thing is coming, and it is coming with all its ferocity and might.
Fair enough. Number 3 then, that would be the 4 greater gods versus the 3rd ranked aberration lord.
As of right now, with how it's stacked, you're looking at a wash, tipping a little bit more in the favor of the adversary.
So it's not strong enough.
As of right now, no.
What if we threw in Asmodeus? So the 5 strongest gods.
It would put it a little more in your favor. Yeah, I don't have the exact math on that one right now, but that would put it a little bit more in your favor.
Okay, when you say wash, do you mean wipe out or do you mean wash? Like a 50, because a wash would be a 50-50. Like you'll
wash
win,
in that terminology.
But everyone else is going to go out too. Everyone's going to die. Basically.
You stop. Yeah, basically it's you stop the enemy, but they die.
So throwing him in there means that
it would be more in your favor.
But it's a question of how much in our favor it would be.
Yeah.
So anything we could add in terms of super powerful individuals, we'd want to add them to either the 3rd fight or the 1st fight.
Okay.
From there, I think we should rearrange a little bit then. Would Death be able to take on number 4 would Death be able to take on number 4 by himself?
Sorry, what was it, Dan?
Would Death be able to take on number 4 by himself?
Sorry, mouthful.
No worries.
As of right now, Charlie or Carell, have you all ever actually told the group what Karan is doing right now? Since the passure of his mantle to you?
Karan's actual plan? No.
I have to step away for a moment.
Okay.
If it comes in the question and they're asking about Quran.
He's asking about death, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's referring to death.
To Quran in this battle, I would then inform him of Quran's plan. Of his plan to becoming law, correct? If I remember that correctly. I know that was a long.
Merging with he's bringing back the faiths and time into one, and then his ultimate goal is to basically scatter amongst the cosmos, freeing the bondage of destiny and fate, and what basically making everybody truly free. But as of right now, Quran is no longer Quran. He is an entity that has merged with time and the three fates. The Raven Queen, the Annoyan, and why am I drawing a blank? Why am I drawing a blank? Drawing a blank on the third one.
I'm back.
All right, so you would ask about Quran, or you can tell him.
You would ask about Quran, and at this point, I would let you know that Quran is no longer Quran at the moment. He is enacting his plan of which in turn would, in his opinion, make everyone truly free by reviving the fates and scattering them across.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So Quran is his motion is to basically free all that is from the bondage of a predetermined destiny, fate, servitude to gods and entities beyond mortal kin. You know, when a mortal dies, unless they, worshipped X god, their soul's pretty much up for auction. It's truly setting the soul free of any type of bondage. He has merged with its kin, time, and the three fates, and is going to ultimately scatter itself across the cosmos, and instead of being entities of divine power, become just true cosmic law.
He's planning on doing this pre-fight?
I said at the moment he is no longer Quran.
Okay, so he's going to fuse with this and then break the laws, or break the chains, their mortal chains of fate, and then become essentially laws as opposed to entities. My question becomes: is he planning on maintaining?
It depends on how you talk. It
status?
depends if you stop him and talk to him. Because as of right now, there's pros to him doing this before fight. But as of right now, this entity is also the combined strength of time, death, and the three fates.
Someone else would have to talk to him because Drake is busy. Pretty sure it should be a Gavin conversation to have.
All right.
So he would basically wipe the floor with number 4 then.
Oh yeah.
At this point, he'd be better off facing or helping face number 1.
What would you want? Because would you want him to help beat?
Each step away from the weakest is a further step away from the laws of your reality, if you will. Quran might not be the best for number one. Because one of the reasons that make it so dangerous and why the chance of, these three over deities will perish is because they have to become, in just simplistic terms, very creative of how to deal with this, because death holds no.
Is it kind of? I don't know, this is kind of ironic, but would it not ironically mean that gods are more capable of facing number one than not, because their power derives from the domains and not from the laws of the world?
Ironically, yeah.
So then, feasibly, if we switch them around, three greater deities fights number three, and the group of gods we had fighting number three fight number one.
It would put it a little more in your all's favor. The
That
more
is
you throw,
ironic.
the more you throw at them, the better, because this isn't a slump. Yeah.
How strong are the animal lords?
25.
25-ish.
Well, Norn is probably pushing up a little bit higher. Same with the dragon.
Yeah.
Probably pushing up higher than that, but still right around that
25
mid to late 20s.
So we need to take the animal lords and teach them the fusion dance.
Okay, no, feasibly here. You'll need to talk to the new entity, whatever he's going to call himself. He calls himself Legion.
Bob.
That's creepy, and I say we let him pass on. But outside of that,
Do you want him to go into a fight and then he's free to go, or give me the stipulations you want me to present to him?
I prefer him help us finish off this particular war, whatever the war ends up being. Help him out fighting off the incursion of the aberrations, and then feel free to break the chains.
You know what? Nah, I'm gonna get that. I keep playing that in my head, and I want this over with, but I want to satisfy. I'm gutting that whole scenario right there. It's just not playing good in my head the more I hear it.
Hmm?
Okay.
No, Kron's still Kron. Unless you all think that's a fitting in for Quran and time and the fates. I don't know, it's just not rolling out the tongue for me right now.
Considering I thought two of the three fates were dead right now anyways.
Their vessels are dead, yes. Their essence, no. Kron's been busy.
I'm relatively indifferent one way or the other. That wasn't my storyline. That was
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you guys talk it out at a later time, and then you can surprise us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Quran, as he stands,
Quran would be helpful. He could easily take on any of the 10 by himself.
Okay.
Without issue. It's when you start getting to the top 3 that his pull over death is less effective the more step, each further step, because they defy the reality or defy the laws of your reality.
Okay. So reasonably
Oh.
speaking, he'll we'll switch this around then. The 3 greater gods are fighting number 3, and then the group of gods are fighting number 1, because the gods derive their strength from their own domains, as opposed to that in the faith of mortals, as opposed to deriving it from the laws of the world, which the aberrations more or less ignore the higher up the chain they go. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a counterbalance. Like, Kron could sit there and fucking gank Palor and them all day long because, they themselves are still part of the mortal, or part of reality, but his power against the top 3 is nothing. But because the gods themselves derive powers from their own domain and the worship of others, they can affect them.
What if we tried using a snowball effect here? We just take a really powerful on our side and just put them against one of the lower ones and just snowball it, chaining it on down. Or chaining it on up, actually.
Because the people on the lower end of our spectrum won't be able to contribute as much then, and the stronger person we put on the bottom is going to be more or less worn out and unable to really contribute past a certain point.
Well, we wouldn't have to necessarily put the high end on. We could put him like in the middle.
Well, that's
snowball it from there.
It's kind of what I want to do with the idea of putting the greater gods on the bottom there, because theoretically they could snowball up, and the Court of Stars could theoretically snowball up as well to the fighting against the top slot. I'm also thinking that I actually like your idea, and I think you and your ship should help out in battle number 3, and probably.
So did you? And I had to interrupt here real quick. Did you all decide on shield or all-out attack?
Kind of going over it now.
Okay.
The reason why we haven't decided yet is feasibly whether or not we could take on the 13 aberrations. Because realistically speaking, the entity is going to be stronger than even the top slot of. Is going to be much stronger than number 1 of the aberration lords.
Yeah.
And if we got unlucky and rolled the top 3 aberration lords plus the final entity, I don't think we win that.
I already rolled, so I know what's coming.
I don't think there's enough. As we've been discussing, I'm actually leaning towards Charlie, which I know puts us at a tie. But I'm kind of leaning towards Charlie's idea that we go for the full. We commit everything as opposed to one.
So we're going to do the full send.
Full send.
Well, right now it's a tie.
That's my point. That's kind of why we're going through the plan right now of what would happen, because I'm leaning with Charlie, and if we do the shield and we end up having to face the top 4 entities we could face, which is realistically possible, I don't think we win that, because there's not enough forces available to fend off the top 3 plus the final entity. Not enough top end forces. Not unless we're willing to go full on mass casualty route, where we throw wave after wave of, what would be strong in this world, but are weak compared to what they're fighting against, in a never-ending battle of death to stall the greater entity until we can take out whatever aberration lords there are. And that would mean a lot of demigods and a lot of lower level gods are going to die.
Don't worry. Josh has the get out of jail free card. When he sees everything go belly up, just go back in time.
I never told anyone that I have that.
I know.
I actually can reverse the time a day.
That may be important if things really start going south.
I got that with the Sword of Stars stuff.
Point being, if why I'm going with Charlie here is I just don't think we have enough. If you plan for the worst but you hope for the best, and if you really are planning for the worst, we just don't have the forces to take on the top 4.
You just got to make sure you can give the enemy if you go the other route.
If we go the other route, we have to bring enough firepower to bear to bring down the adversary.
Mm-hmm.
That is your dilemma. To help you out here, and y'all can spend the rest of the session kind of figuring out, because, you know, going forward, we got boss fights coming up, mini boss fights that, you know, your character is going to be part of until the appropriate, or this campaign characters are a part of, just to finish it out. It's not finishing and just cinematic. To help you out here, I'll tell you what I rolled. You have...
Don't.
Okay.
That's defeats the whole purpose.
Fair.
You keep your little secret, man.
I will keep my secrets.
I don't want your secrets,
Okay.
but I do want to know what I get.
You can't have it both ways, man.
It literally defeats the whole purpose. We know what's coming.
Yeah.
We'll end up playing as if we're not metagaming, so we're going to end up doing the same thing as if we don't know what we're going to be facing. We might as well just be surprised.
I just wanted to see how y'all would react, all right? And y'all,
maybe once everything's set in like stone, then go ahead and tell us what you would have rolled. But like I said, I just don't think we have the forces to face the top 4. In terms of doing enough damage to the adversary, you have the full-powered cannon shot, plus the full-powered Josh's ship shot, plus the cannons that Sam was talking about making.
The Super Soaker 9001. I still forward that as the name.
that one is what makes the difference. Nobody cares anymore.
Get to me when it's over 9 million. The point being, you know, that's a lot of damage we're throwing that way. Anything else we could come up with, I'm all for. Like maybe
Well, if you shoot him with Josh's cannon, that brings it down to about half his health. If he uses the battery and drains the ship again, but that might cause the ship to be, you know, dead water pretty much. That brings it down to a 4th left.
Because maybe redirecting a meteor to hit him when he wakes up.
That resource you gave him to recharge, that was a very valuable resource you gave him to be able to power his ship again.
I know Solin's generous, Drake isn't. Let's move on. Do you tell Drake about this?
Oh, fuck.
About what?
What?
You guys are on search for material. Drake has a fucking horde a mile long. But he doesn't know anything about this ship. He doesn't even know enough to ask if you need anything.
Isn't Drake super busy right now, though?
Yes, but telepathy is a non-action for him.
Not action.
Because he has
That's
the
what it's
super
called
spells.
from now on.
They have a weak recharge on them. But he has those super spells, and one of those super spells is matter. It's 4 months until the enemy wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
He can cast those spells 8 times. Oh, 12. What am I talking about? 16 times.
What would Drake want for that, though? Or you just do it?
This is a
Yes,
spell.
dude.
This isn't a deal.
Yeah.
A deal, if you wanted to do a deal, Drake could give you a never-ending power source. If that's what you were looking for. A deal is a whole different ballgame. Because that's up to you on what you give him that's of strong enough quality to secure your whatever it is you're requesting. But on the other hand, if you're just asking him, hey, do you have X, Y, and Z materials? Drake can conjure them via his matter spell. You'd have to pick them up, but you're literally hovering above Abaddon right now.
Hmm. So technically, we could have enough shots from that, but I'm guessing you can only fire one new shot right away.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of recharge time you're looking at for after you
Installing it
insert
for-
in yeah. I'm guessing it's not an easy thing to do. And besides that, it won't be a sucker's punch anymore. He'll actually be able to defend against after the first shot. Ambushes are great, but there is a rule, when you take a shot at the king, make sure you don't miss. There's a reason for that.
I am leaning back towards the cannon shot, by the way.
Okay,
Rather
so that's
than
what we're
the
going to
shield.
plan. Okay. So we've changed Josh's mind. Derek, we now know we're going to do I'm setting in stone. I'm locking in our answer.
You're locking in your answer. You're going balls to the wall. All the lords coming out.
Yep.
Now I'm going to tell you what I rolled.
Okay.
I've
I
been
have a feeling
considering
he
bringing
So
this up.
he's wanted to tell us more than we
I
wanted
know.
the answer.
I know.
note to self: don't tell Zedek any secrets ever.
That's bullshit. I am a vault of secrets. All
The
right.
question is, are
before
you an
you-
open vault or a closed vault?
I don't know. How much money do you got? No.
He's an empty vault of secrets.
So, the lower the number, the higher on the scale. You can't. Okay, hold on, Sam. Go ahead. Words. Use them.
I've been debating on bringing this up because I think it's something that a character would be really uncomfortable suggesting.
Okay.
But I still have that little imp guy, and we've seen him be powerful twice, like the Kirby inhale of the monsters and to bring a couple of us back from the dead.
Okay.
So potentially, if things really start going south and we need like a Hail Mary, we could use him as like a catalyst for another weapon, like a power source.
We may need another weapon here, so Hail Marys are probably going to be appreciated when we launch everything we got against the adversary. It's just a matter of coming up with various attacks that we want to use against the adversary when his cocoon starts to break. I'm all for any idea you come up with the imp, using the imp for. The cannon one was a good idea because we have 4. We could make up to 4 cannons here, pointing them at the cocoon and basically just have them hovering there waiting for an activation sequence, and they'd probably do a significant amount of damage, and it'd be a sustained damage as well. As long as they're shooting out water, they'd be doing damage.
Well, and you're literally got those stones, which is a link to the elemental plane of water. So it's not like it's gonna run out of water, and if it does, dear God,
Right?
we just broke the world or glitch in the matrix. Something.
So it would be a continual damage against him. Anything else that would be burst damage wise that we could come up with that we could use, be all for. But the imp, if you want to explore where his burst in power comes from, by all means.
All
How to
right.
use it.
So Dan was correct to be worried about the chance of putting the shield up.
Man,
This was my roll.
I love being right.
This was my roll. 1, 3, 2, 4, 11, 7.
I love
Shit.
being right.
That was the exact order. 1, 3, 2, 4. It was originally 10, but you have 10 on your ally, so I rounded it up. So it went to 11 and then 7.
Well, shit. I'm glad we went this route.
You locked it in, so no takesy backsies.
Yeah, one
Don't want to.
1 through 4 plus the main guy. Yeah, no, that would be what we would call a party wipe. That would be called Josh, do your day reset thing. We'll find someplace else to use that energy and
Oh, this
Wow.
still might go cataclysmically. Oh my god, I can't talk.
cataclysmically
Kitty
wrong.
cat? No.
Yeah, kitty cat, scratch. Don't worry about it. Yeah, now I'm starting to get delirious here. All right, so we have a set plan. Y'all need to come up with some damage sources and figure out some things there. I'm starting to get really lightheaded. I'm gonna lay down for a bit. Y'all keep talking. Sam will stay in call with y'all as long as you are, and she can let me know anything that if y'all have questions, she can ask me. Unless y'all want to call it, I gotta lay down. I'm starting to get dizzy. I'm just gonna be on the couch, so if y'all have questions, she can ask me and I can let her know and she can tell you all. You're right, I volunteered you. Alright, I gotta go lay down, guys.
Okay, man.
I'll be on the couch, but like I said, keep talking shit, figure out your plan, because next week things are gonna start going and we're gonna be progressively moving forth going next week. So this is your planning stage, you guys. Alright.
Sounds good.
Talk to you on a bit. Thank you.
Broad slice, anything that anybody can come up with for dealing damage to the main adversary that we can think of over the course of the week, go ahead and just assume we'll approve and we'll bring it up next week. Or if anybody comes up with anything now, that's fine. But as far as the top 3 lords, we cover current setup. I say, Josh and your ship, once the adversary's been taken care of, you go and help battle number 3, and then, snowball, like you were talking about before. After we can beat 3 relatively quickly, 2 would be a piece of cake as soon as, the 3 graders plus you show up. And especially if you have the water cannons. So you'll still have a damaging capability even if you don't use your main weapon. But then as far as the rest of the 10 go, Xanathran takes on number 4. What did I say before? Some of these got jumbled around. Seems to be number 5 and 6 will end up being a amalgam. Like, I'd just say take the 2 Pantheons and sick them against 5 and 6, and then maybe sec the Devils against 7. You'll have to decide, Josh, whether or not you're going to allow Woth to be brought back for this particular battle or not. So it's 5, 6, 7. Number 8. Well, we could sick. We could sick the 4 brothers, the 4 Solin's 4 uncles.
Yeah, the uncles.
Sick them on number 8. That should be right around par. Because now we're starting to talk about mid 20s. Number 9. As long as we're able to get Time's help, and I'm assuming he'd be willing to help, I could. We could feasibly, number 9, we could feasibly do some combination of God Beast.
Okay.
Maybe get their kids to help. Maybe send the 4 God Beast children against number 9. I might end up saying we save the God Beasts for reserve, because they literally can't be killed as long as the material plane exists.
Yeah.
So it might be a good idea for, Drake sees one battle is, on the losing end, he just teleports in, drops a God Beast, and teleports out. 10 is on our side, so we don't got to worry about 10. 10 is also, since she's on our side, we'll fight 11, so 11 is taken care of. That would leave 12 and 13. So 13 would be CR22. So theoretically, the Dragon Lords could, if they all banded together, could probably take 22. Any other hero we wanted to add in there could probably, add in the Lords of Anal in here as well. they could probably take 22. And then maybe have the group get together for be Gideon, Carl, Xandric, for number 12.
Okay.
Who's
they-
left of the Fae?
They're all technically alive and kicking, so Oberon, Titania, and Mab would fully, and the Lord of Rivers, I think, is the fourth one, are fully able to act. So they could reinforce almost anybody up and down the chain. And we also have the 3 siblings that'll be able to act up and down the chain as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd keep those 2 together and maybe drop them in where someplace is struggling.
All done for today.
And then basically have Drake function as an assassin. Have him come in and basically deal as much damage as he can in a brief burst, and then fade out and basically attack up and down the chain.
I could do that with 7 as well.
So I would say do the same thing with 7. Yeah. I'd even go so far and say complete what the enemy was going to do and strip the domains from the soul of the god of assassins and fully grant them to 7.
So basically, completely turn him into the god of the assassins.
I'd be giving him domains. It wouldn't be giving him divine ranks. It wouldn't be giving him elevating him to divinity necessarily. It's the step before divinity. You need a domain before you can attempt to become a divine entity. He would be basically a demigod.
So you strip those, and then what's left of the soul? What do you do with that? Use it to empower something?
Maybe give it to Gavin for see if he can convert it into an energy strike of some sort, because the main party is also going to be another loose party we can assign to locale to either bolster or end a fight more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Xandric, obviously, because he's going to be fighting in on number 3.
Xandric's gonna be fighting in the.
I'm assuming you have to be on your ship.
You mean Corel?
Yes, that's
Xandric
my bad. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Xandric is going to be fighting number 12. And that would have all of our lords covered. So as long as we can deal enough damage to the adversary, we also have, 4 lifelines that we can deploy as needed. And 2 disruptive forces for the enemy. But keep in mind, those 4 auxiliary forces we have,
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you all, but it might be worthwhile to turn them against the tide of, minor aberrations that are flooding across as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of up to us on whether or not we want to double down on the greater aberrations, or if we want to, turn them against the tide.
Turn who?
Be the Fey Lords, the 3 siblings, so God of Vampires, Witch Queen, and werewolf lord.
A thought did occur to me. Dangerous, I know.
I was gonna ask if you were okay.
But I just had a minor stroke. It's fine. Drake's already made it, or was it Solon? Has already made a deal with one of the far realm entities. What's stopping us from making deals with the others? Turn them to our side.
Yeah, angle we could use, or I would be trying to come up with an angle we could use.
And birth them with cupcakes.
While I'm not opposed to convert to fighting with sweets, you have to remember with how weak she was. On top of that, we had in with the fact that Xanathran was here already and was her child.
Yeah, I know. I'm just,
I'm not.
They are conniving. They are power hungry. There is a opening there.
Yeah, there legitimately there is a thought. I mean, I agree with you. I also thought about whether or not it might be worthwhile to strike at several of them while they're still in the far realm over the course of this next few months. Only the fact that rules don't work quite the same way over in the far realm is the only thing that makes me hesitate about doing that. And I still might end up suggesting we do it.
Hey, what about this? You did say Drake can make 16 cores, right?
Yeah.
Why doesn't just make 16 cores and I just swap out 16 cores to fire 16 shots, all aimed at them?
That might work. It's just a matter of how much time Derek says it takes you to swap out a core.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we could.
Because you have to remember, if we cheese this like this, Derek is going to make it a significant amount of time it takes for you to swap out a core.
I know. I'm just saying.
I might have a way of keeping the ship on the material plane and still be able to fire it directly at Abaddon.
Well, we're flying above Abaddon right now, so...
Mm-hmm.
Because Abaddon won't exist once the entity wakes up.
Yeah.
So he'll just be floating in space, and we'll shoot him with everything we've got.
I'm going back through my notes from last campaign, right? Is the Raven Queen back?
Yes, and little girl.
Fully back?
She's a little girl, but yeah. She's been reborn. She's not old enough yet to have retaken her mantle. Not that much time has passed.
So Jane still has it.
Correct.
It's in the seat.
Sam, could you ask Derek for us how long it takes for Chucky or Corell to swap out power cores in his ship?
Yep.
Because this could really cheese the hell out of it.
I know, it could. It was an idea I had, and it's like, oh, even I don't do it like that. It is cheesy. Everything.
He's looking at his notes real quick.
Whatever happened to her?
Ooh.
Alyssa, the daughter of the Rune Lord. We actually made her the Rune Lord. We gave her her father's power. If I remember correctly.
Right.
What happened to her?
She's still in the desert regions of Zobek, but we had no reason to interact with her.
I haven't looked at this shit in forever. Chief Jump. I forgot her name. Artificer gal from the last campaign. Bryn.
So I think we got everything pretty much set. I mean, Josh's ability to, if not end a fight, greatly shorten a fight with his primary weapon will be how much time in between shots will determine how much effect and use that will be beyond the first fight.
Well, I was, thinking how many shots can I get off in the 4 months. If we could whittle down the enemies we have.
You won't be able to hurt the cocoon.
No, I'm not going to touch the cocoon. I'm talking about attacking any of the far realm. That's what I'm
Fair enough.
whittling some of them down. That way we don't have to fight as many and we can have more forces to bear against them all.
But at that point, our only thing we're worried about is powering up the shot enough to actually take down the adversary.
I put it in chat.
Safely switching it out an hour. 3 actions with 1 crafting check for a rush job. Looks like Solon's going with you on your ship.
Well, we have 3 crafters in this thing.
Technically, he could take the stone dwarf with him.
Oh. What was his name? I have him in my notes. I'm looking at the wrong campaign notes, though. I'm looking at the previous campaign notes.
Sindrick?
Zendrick the Old is not the one we're talking about.
The one I'm talking about is from this campaign.
Right.
He was the one that we fished up from the bottom of the lake or the ocean, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Correct.
He's the dwarf at the bottom of the sea.
Korgoth. Who's the dwarf we're talking about?
Is your ship able to teleport?
It can travel through planes. I don't know. Derek has not told me fully the full capabilities of that ship. So I don't know its full transportation capability. I know it can go through planes, it can go different universes, it can go,
Okay, well, I'm gonna say we call it here because we basically got the bare bones of a plan. I'm gonna wait until Xandric feels better, or Xandric, before Derek feels better, to ask him again about clarification on that, because that seems like a pretty big margin there,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to make sure if we're gonna cheese this, we're actually able to cheese this, and it's not a mistake from him not feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll double check on that later. But I'm thinking we're gonna call it here because we're kind of going around in circles at this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody can come up with any other power sources or any other major attacks over the course of the next month, maybe taking some of those power cores, Josh, and putting them at like bombs or using them like missiles, might be worthwhile.
Well,
Remember-
if I could do research in that 4 months and figure out how to arm that ship better or power it better, you know.
Remember, there's no such thing as overkill.
Yes, sir.
Until-
Blowing up the entire universe is overkill.
You were gonna blow up the Fey realm in order to hurt him, so I don't want to hear anything about you saying that there's
When
something.
did I say I was going to blow up the Fey realm? I was going to blow up the Far realm. Get it right.
You said the Fey realm because remember I told you about, or remember this cannon that we launched initial attack against him is meant to wipe out realms, and your original thought was to shoot it at Abaddon and wipe out Abaddon.